Hi, I'm Nate the Bias User, and today I'm going to be reviewing this new Don Toliver album, Lovesick. Don Toliver is a mainstream R&B and what I guess some consider to be hip-hop artist I've been covering for most of this decade. And even when I wasn't into everything he's done, I still didn't get into this newest project, Lovesick, without expecting a few highlights out of it, just like the last album and the one before. But the disappointing thing about this record is how, at best, it's consistent at bringing in quality tracks, but sadly without all of the itch-scratchers. I could say I was into the James Blake feature on Let Her Go, but it still wouldn't make up for the drum beat lacking any type of density, or the atmosphere that lacks ear-grabbing material. Kali Uchis was even on the track for me, which wasn't a bad thing at all. I was loving her feature on the previous record, but she just had to be on the track that rides off the nostalgia of an old R&B or hip-hop hit, with this one being Germs Them Sugar, which is something I'm totally fed up with. And while this track is far from the worst spin on this trend, it's heavily reliant on the unoriginal aspects to the track, just to be a hit in its own way. I had to hand it to Go Down for being one of the more engaging tracks to the album, with the vibrating bass that's also pretty catchy. I wish the drums were this engaging and not so slim on Honeymoon, because it might make the whole song click, instead of me just appreciating the oily synth. But I guess that's this album in general. Pieces of something I like scattered in different places. Private Landing, outside of the mean trap part, has a synth-based passage I've heard more than once. Not just from Don Toliver, but Travis Scott. Even if the production was better than a record like Rodeo, or even Astroworld, which it wasn't, it's just something I've had enough of. But on this song, Justin Bieber gives out a performance that's awfully bassy for his standards, and more raw and humanized, which is something I would love to hear more of. Not that he was ever a bad singer. But what is bad is the follow-up Slow Motion. That is not only tasteless, but has an overblown bass on this thing. I can't stand it, but I'm glad it doesn't get this worse again. If I Had wasn't a standout psychedelic rock cut, but I was liking how expressive Charlie Wilson was. I also found the Tori Moi feature to be interesting on Cinderella, where it was hard to find where exactly he was, but I am unequivocally convinced it was him on the deep robot auto-tune on the back end. Then we reach the album's closer that has a passionate bass direction, that then turns into a spacey horn, with interesting stuff backing it up, making a potentially good progression. But its less than 3-minute length lowered the crap out of the possibilities of the track being as refined as it could have been. Lovesick isn't the mixed bag I considered the predecessor to be from Don Toliver, but it's a long run of tracks that have the qualities and potential, with it not being used to the fullest. I hope you get better songs from Don later, but I guess consistency is a start. I'm gonna give this album a 5 out of 10. Like, subscribe, comment how you feel, or give me a suggestion. Check out my other social medias, and I'll see you next time.